This is a nice video card. Don't get me wrong, but I'm a little bit sad that you had to go this route just because the video card world right now is upside down because of these things.
I've heard they got some problems with failures. On Google, they were talking
The
about
2080s I've seen failures on. I haven't seen any significant issues with 2070s. Not enough to make me worry about
Okay,
it.
good.
And in addition, the RTX features you're basically going to have to turn off.
Oh,
They
okay.
are useless
Right.
in games right now
Right,
because
yeah.
nothing supports it.
Right. Yeah.
And if you leave it on, it actually screws your performance.
Oh, okay.
That's why this generation is so. But you can't go to the back generation
No.
without paying almost $1,000.
No, I couldn't do that.
And the next gen is like they're releasing a secondary sort of thing in a few months, but we don't know exactly when. And there's probably going to be another 6 to 8 months before we see a true next gen. So you're just at a little bit of a.
I have these batteries in here for another.
Oh, okay. Well, can I give those to you then? Is this, that's our Win 1064. Okay. What do we got here?
Oh, that's your fans.
Okay, extra fans. These are good. I didn't want you to not have, because not Keller, but Ben mentioned that you didn't have or that you had a warm room, I guess I should say. And that can definitely be an issue. And a motherboard. Alright, let's take a look. Just a quick visual on the though. Make sure nothing's bent or screwed looking here. Nice motherboard.
Yeah. Ooh.
Motherboard looks good. Alright.
Slides.
Yep.
Fun stuff.
And are these for like headsets?
Different types of audio. You've got a mic in, a regular line in, you've got a mic in, a line out, and what looks like a 2.1 or a 5.1 setup for a sub with probably 2 stereo speakers. The SPDIF is a digital sound out. I've never actually fiddled with that, but I think that can be used to go out to better stereo equipment.
Oh wow.
So you've got 2 USB 3.0s and 2 more USB 3.0s with different colored tongues for some reason. I'm unfamiliar with that. I'll have to figure out why that. These red ones may be a little faster than the blue ones for data transfer. You've got a Type-C over here, which is the new cell phone type connector, and that sometimes, I'm not sure on this motherboard in particular, but sometimes that can also be used as a video out. You're not going to be using these video outs, you'll be using these video outs. That's one of the first mistakes people make, is they plug everything in, they put their new video card in, and then they plug into the onboard video. And so they're like, why isn't my card where it's not doing anything? So Ben's going to walk through all of that with you. I just wanted to make sure that our hardware all looks good before we get started, and it does. So let me go see where he is at. Looks like he's walking back.
I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay.
Yeah. Just go ahead and take a seat, and he'll be back with you in just a minute. Get you going there. We just installed this same RAM in a machine last week for a guy too. This is we just started doing these classes, but they're starting to, people are digging it.
Yeah.
Alright, this is gonna be a nice little machine, Tracy. I'm excited for you. You're playing Division and Division 2 was you're playing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Not ones I've played, but they are beefy. Well, Division. I don't think 2 is out yet, is it?
2 comes out next month. Yeah, March.
There's our
March.
That's he's our remember everything guy.
Well, also, I played Division.
Oh.
Yeah, I just watched the video on this. They said this is really good.
Yeah, this is a reasonably priced,
Yeah, that's
pretty nice motherboard when it comes down to it. You've got SATA 6 gig speed, which is basically the fastest straight SATA connection you can get. You've got multiple PCI Express slots in
Somebody
case
said
you
that
want
there
to.
was some sort of SATA connection. They were having a glitch on this particular unit I read.
This
was written back in August. So
It's all going to be specific board dependent. That person could have had an issue with a particular board, or they could be plugging in what's known as an NVMe drive, which uses a slot like this, but actually takes up the same lanes as these in terms of throughput. So they may have put one somewhere and it disabled another one. That's a thing that happens on modern motherboards with that type of connection. But we're going to be sticking with yours. I believe we're sticking straight to the SATAs because we're not big fans of the NVMEs here yet. They can generate a lot of of heat, and that's a thing we try to avoid in machines, especially in laptops. So, all right, here's Ben.
So, we're going to be building this. Got our variety of tools. Got all of our components checked out.
Yes, sir.
Mike went through all the pieces. Any questions as we're getting going? No. Okay. So let's get this case out.
And then also have your video and your RAM.
Yep. While you're there.
Let me know if you need anything.
There we go. So this is the case itself. So we've got our power and things on the front panel. Front panel fan. Our back panel, so we'll have the video cards and things popping out of here. And oh, I see it's on its side. There's our panels. That's what we're looking for. Front is totally smooth. Okay. This type flip out or slide back? Flips up. Slide the color so it all looks pretty. Put that out of the way. Step one. Okay. So the main motherboard's going to lie down here. It's got various screw points for the different sizes of motherboard, so we'll see which ones line up. These standoffs keep it off, so hopefully we'll be able to leave those standoffs in place. And the motherboard screws down into those standoffs. We've got, this one has this power supply. It's almost its own separate cage. And these are the cables from the front panel that get plugged into the motherboard. So USB line, power switch, that type of thing. The front fan power, that type of stuff. See, I think this is the top panel most of those lines are coming from. So let's take it out of the plastic. Okay. Feed all those lines up in here. So we've got USB, audio, front fan. We also have power lines. So these two, see how the pins they each have one missing, but it's in a different spot.
Yes.
That way you can't plug it into the wrong place. Fans are either 3 or 4, and they're always going to be thick on one side with a clip on the other side. So again, you can't put it in wrong. What's nice is the fan sockets have 4 pins. So either 3 or 4 will go into the same socket. And then the other one of these is for the actual power button, hard drive light, that type of stuff. So we're going to move those off to the side. Well, you can put your hard drives in on this side. We've got your power supply underneath. What else we got down here? This feels like it's another. Make sure that you take it apart properly. Okay, I think those screws. That looks like, yes, that is a hard drive slot. So what's the easiest way to get at that?
Well, he's been working at this for a couple of years now.
There's that. I think these are for that.
Even Nikki was still there, like the groundwork was being laid for this. It was just a matter of running out of time, no space in the hospital.
Screw number 2. Those together. 2. Doesn't want to come out. If I need to screw those. I need to remove all those because those, you'll notice, are actual rivets.
Oh, yeah.
So does that compartment come out? Seems those imply that the cage slides. I don't have to take apart the whole bottom. And the case doesn't have its own little manual, I assume. Because that is the hard drive cage down there. That's the front panel. The front panel doesn't do that. That takes out that. These take out the front area.
Fantastic. The other two, I can see I'm moving that final one above.
That's how we can get more front
So we're
panels.
tomorrow is the CCDA.
It doesn't really look like it gets us much more access.
It sounds like she got some sort of mesh router to replace her.
That takes up that cage. See, this part comes out, but that doesn't really get us into here. And it seems weird that we'd have to pull out the power supply every time we want to get at the hard drive enclosure. Maybe it's from the other side. Let's take off this side panel. Or maybe making it more difficult than I need to. Ah, there's access to our hard drive right there. Okay. So let me put these two screws back before we lose track where they came from. Screwdriver. Back here. Screw. Come back here. Screw. I was hoping there would be an easier way to get at that. Okay. So, we've got hard drive access. And this should be our screws and theirs. Might even be a manual for the thing. Yeah, this is all the hardware and tie downs and stuff. Okay, this should have our screws in here as well. Perfect. Okay, so hard drives. We've got motherboard. We've got power supply. Video card's gonna slot in there. Okay. So everything nice and neat. Good, good, good. Okay. So the order I like to do things: get the motherboard in place first and locked down. Then we get the CPU and heatsink into place, as well as connecting all the panel cords. Then the power supply and its connections, video card and its connections, hard drive and its connections. And at that point, we should be ready for a test fire. So far, so good. And this is nice because it actually has the panel attached to the motherboard. A lot of times, this faceplate is separate, so you have to sort of line it up at the same time. So that's a nice little advantage. So this comes out that panel, so it would be this way up. Get under there. There we go. Out of the way. There's one more hiding underneath. There we go. Okay. Here are all the lines from the front panel. So ideally it should have 9 screw points, one of which actually just goes into a little post there. See that post? So with that in place, the screw points should line up, And this should have all the screws we need.
If it's credit card stuff, you can put it in there, you can swap it quicker.
These are the ones we should use. Those for hard drive. Here's another connectors for fans and things. This looks like another set of the same type of screw. Yes. Okay. What else we got here? Lots of little tie downs. These types. Okay. So you can see how these screws are a lot bigger. These are specifically for the case fans. These two, now standard computer screws, you can see have a little sort of lip around the head, a collar. These are just sort of round and flat, so these are the ones we want to use for the motherboard. There should be at least 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Joe Shepherd,
5, 6, 7, 8. Yep, plenty of each, so we're going to use these.
credit card receipt, but I have no invoice. We don't find it.
632 screw flat.
These are M3 5 flat. Let's see.
17, 13, it was for it was a student.
When?
Friday for Joe Shepherd. Just, I have a paid credit card slip, but no.
Oh, but no
paid
actual invoice.
for it.
Okay.
But that's okay, because now I have a paper invoice. There's one thing humans are good at, is generating paper.
Doesn't feel like it's engaging properly, so I'm going to try one of those other screws. My fingers are too thick. Come on, you.
Yeah, they literally say installed accessory for what the screws are for.
But not which accessory. Okay, let's get you back in your little bag so we don't lose track of you. Let's grab one of these guys. These grab any better. Should. Let's see if those teeth engage. That's what we want to feel. Now, as we tighten these down, we don't really want to use brute force.
No.
Just turn it till it stops turning. Yeah.
Now, is that due to the super high resolution?
Come on. Doesn't feel like your teeth are engaging. Threads. Come on. Not quite lining up.
I guess, that would make an amount of sense, because you're using more plastic to make this.
There we go. Okay. I'm just going all the way around. As long as the screw points line up, everything should slot in nice. This is always the tough one to reach. Oops. Especially if you fling your screws across the way. There it is. Does my magnetic screwdriver have enough pull on it? No. Slightly magnetic screwdrivers can be a lifesaver for things like this. There. Got it. Okay. corner. There's my- oops. Okay. Three more along the bottom. Rotate it like that. Get out a little easier. Okay, two more.
I thought,
Last one.
yeah, basically, he's trying to get more compact. That's what it sounds like.
Okay, stage one complete.
Is this a screw hole for something else?
There's actually a post,
Post.
on the board
Oh,
that sticks out.
okay,
That's your
where the
original
post-
centering
that's the
one,
original
right?
centering post, okay.
Okay, now system fan should have a socket right there. And if you look closely,
Okay, go for it. How come you're going back so quick?
look closely, it's got gray type. They actually do label most of these sockets. So like this one, you can see it's the U3 for the USB. Various other ones actually say sys fan, so little 4-prong ones. Over here, you can see a CPU fan, that type of thing. So it's a matter of making sure the right sockets take the right plugs. So here's our 3-pin front fan. So you can see it's a 4-pin socket
Oh, yeah.
with a little restraint in the back. That restraint lines up with the clippy part.
Oh, yes.
So it knows which of the 3 pins I actually want for my fan. Fan. Yeah, USB 3 was this one. Yeah, this one is HD audio. See which of those lines is for the audio. Looks like it could be either of those. So let's look in the little book. See which one it wants to be the HD audio. Oh, that's the case, not the motherboard. Here's the case manual. Let's pull out the motherboard manual. And we're really just looking for HD audio line. That's the front I/O. USB 2. So that looks like it's using HD audio. This one is front panel. Panel. Make sure the pin without lines up. Is it the other panel? Where's my audio? AAFP, that's my over here. Pins line up. Let's go. There we go. Is that right? What are you finicky for? Stop being finicky. Why don't you want to go down more solid? I'm going to use brute force. It's definitely the right connection.
I am done on that.
And pins off. Make sure I'm not missing any pins or anything. No, that's it. That worries me. That doesn't feel like it's going. That front panel. This is front panel. But the pins don't seem to coincide. HDD, reset, power LED. Now, what I'm puzzling is the front panel. It's all preset.
Okay.
Their front panel doesn't exactly coincide.
This is always a fun part.
Yeah, this is the exciting part. CPU. So where is my... So there's the system control panel, but theirs has a 20. This is the HD audio. Front panel audio, AAFP, but it's a 10 pin, and that one's... Nope, that is a good pin. That should work for the 10 pin. 15, yeah, that's where I was going the first time. This empty one is in that direction, the empty one is in that direction.
They're always all just different enough that you have to deal with this on every build.
But see, it doesn't snug down.
Sometimes they don't feel like they clip all the way in.
Okay, well, that one actually feels nice and tight, so we're gonna go with that. And then the front panel, it wants to go into.
Yeah, you're on there.
But again, we're in a case where
What I'm seeing is we could use a desk lamp back here for when we're doing this.
yes,
Sounds good. How would 930 work?
sensor and panel.
How would 930 small?
So where on our panel should we be lining up? HD LEDs are on that side. That worries me. That's our system panel connection. Where's it's got its that whole set? That's about all I got. Okay, well.
Right. There's only so much that I can do.
That's for expansion slots, jumper ratings. Just want to make sure I'm not missing anything else obvious. That's for the HD audio.
Or in your computer.
Gaming sensors. M2 sockets. Those are your RGB for your light up cases and
So
things.
you're looking for this one, right?
Which should go in the end, but there's that socket is big enough. I'm not sure where in that end it goes.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The pinout on the motherboard is bigger than the plug that you're. Let me look at it for a second.
That is what we're talking about. That's the front panel, and this is my front panel connections. But instead of being separate little pieces, they've got it all
it's one
preset.
thing, yeah. That's becoming more and more common, which is going to make this more and more of a
So
issue
it
later
does seem to connect right here. 4 and 1.
My name is Keller.
Yeah, it's fixing
Yeah, that's the way it wants to go on.
Let me see your plug.
I believe it goes on.
This. Oh, you think it goes that side? Because I am currently looking at it. And
Cause it's got 4 and 5.
that's going to be. No, it doesn't.
And this
yeah, it
end
doesn't
is the
go
only
on
one
there.
that's got 4 and 5.
No, you're right. It doesn't go on that end. All right, so I'm looking at the same place you are then.
Yeah, because all the other ones are for extra speakers and stuff.
That's what it was looking like to me. I just had it on the other end, but visually, I was trying to see which one actually matched up.
Okay. Panel connections connected.
You get in there?
Yes. We've got system fan,
Awesome.
USB, speakers, audio, and front panel. That stage is complete. How is this clipping on?
Bracket is in here.
Ah, okay, good. That's what we're looking for. And then we got thermal paste.
Do you have thermal paste back here, or do you need some?
I
Got
assume
some
that's what
with
that
the-
is.
Okay. Oh, that's intriguing. I see color has better.
This, I should be able to use those clips for it. Yes. So we don't need to use that bottom cage. This.
We're gonna give you a slight upgrade there.
Yeah.
A little better thermal paste than the stuff they send in the tube or in the envelope thing.
So the way this is going to go is we put the thermal paste on here so that it actually picks up the heat directly into the copper. And then this clamps down on top of it like that.
So is there like water or something in there?
Nope, it's
No,
just
air?
copper going to radiators, yeah. It's made to operate pretty hot, which is why a lot of these cases will have temperature sensors and things as well. Okay. So I think we are ready for the chip. This is the part that always makes me the most nervous.
Oh, really?
Just because it's the expensive part.
The brain.
Exactly. Video card, we got RAM. These are case fans. Power supply. This, I assume, is the chip. Yep. Where's my- Okay. Oh. Looks like this one actually came with a heatsink too. This one came with its own heatsink as well. Whether you want to use this one or that one, they're both standard, just airflow heat sinks. So I don't know if you want to use this one or that one. Apples and oranges.
I don't know. Which one's better?
This one came with a chip, so that one you could probably get your money back
Okay.
for.
Yeah.
I'll put this one back in its box. So if you want to, you should be able to just get a refund. And that, and these.
put it back.
I don't know how the packaging went, so. And then these are also part of it. And the documentation. Okay. So all the pieces are into the motherboard is in. So here's how this is going to work. Ah, there we go. It actually comes with thermal paste already on it.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we'll just go with this one. So this is the chip itself.
Oh, wow.
That's the delicate side. You don't want to touch that side. That's going to drop straight down onto that. Comes with a little sticker. Sticker is completely up to you whether you want to put stickers all over the place. So the way this works is the boom arm swings up. The chip itself just drops on, and then the boom arm swings back down to hold it in place. Now the one thing I want to get these guys, I never remember which end is up. See how we've got those 4 empty marks? They line up. If you notice, there are 4 marks on the grid. I just don't remember whether we want to go that way or that way.
Okay, that was trying to basically do install on top.
Okay, here's how we can tell. If we look closely at the actual holes, one side is a perfect square, whereas the others have diagonals. Do you see that?
Where is it? What
So this corner,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
the block is square.
Oh, yeah, square.
Whereas these blocks go.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's how you can make sure only one of these corners is an
Is-
open square.
Ah.
And it is that corner.
Yes.
So when we put it down, we're going to put it down like that. So that corner goes there. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that corner goes there. And it just actually drops straight down. There's no pressure required. And that locks it in place.
Wow.
Make sense? Just very delicate, because if you bend the pins underneath, that could be the whole ball game right there. So this guy, we don't actually need to do anything to that. As it heats up, it'll melt into place. These clips go on those hooks. And then this, it's a 4-pin one. We've got up here and down here. There's one specifically labeled CPU fan. So that's a chassis fan. I think one up here, CPU. That one actually says CPU next to it. So that's the one that's going to go to this fan. Make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so this is always a little exciting. I get one side hooked on. Rest it straight down onto it. See if we can get this side hooked on. This is the only time where you might need to use a little bit of strength.
That's a lock it down.
Yeah. Trying to get the hook over that hook. There we go. And this into CPU fan. Okay, so Fan connection is connected. He is on nice and solid. CPU complete. These are just extension cords for the fan itself.
Yeah, that's what I was
It doesn't
wondering.
reach
Oh,
that type of thing.
okay.
Okay. Next. Let's get all this cleaned up and out of the way. Okay. Next up, we'll do power supply. So here's another case where the power supply is going underneath, and we will feed the cables around either through here or up through there, depending on where we're trying to connect them. So this one we're going to need one power main to go to the main board. We're going to need a power lead. There's a secondary, let's see if I can find it, up here, another 8-pin socket. The video card will also need a power line. Then we'll need a SATA line to your hard drive. Just one hard drive, no opticals or anything right now? Perfect. Okay. Let's crack this guy open. So here's what we got so far. Lovely motherboard, all the main pins connected, and now power supply slots in the back. Okay. Here is the main unit.
Oh my god, lots of cords.
That's because they don't know which cables you're going to need. So, main power, and then we have banks for the power. Now, the main one is the motherboard. That one's going to be required. It's also the one with the most pieces, the most plugs. So this end goes in there, and that end goes in the one next to it.
And 4 for the VGA.
So that would be for the video card.
Yeah.
So let's get our motherboard. And then the rectangle corresponds with it. 1, 2. Motherboard. This. Once again, like that. Let's see, which way do we want to go? Go that way, so the fan is blowing down through the vents in the bottom. Okay. Just want to make sure everything slides in. We won't have to do cables before or after.
What is this? This is
Eco, basically energy saver.
Ah.
So if you know it's going to be on a low power for a while, you can slid it to low power. Okay. Now, I believe your video card requires a 6-pin. So this is nice because it's got 6 or 8-pin. Like this could be combined into an 8-pin. So we're going to use this for our VGA line. VGA. SATA for your hard drive. SATA. Those guys.
oh, and it's labeled right on it.
Yep, that's
Oh, wow.
one.
Yeah, right
SATA.
there. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons we love these EVGA power supplies. They're really well put together. Well, very informative when you're trying to get work done. So if you do get other drives, if this isn't enough, You can just add as many as you need. So if you get multiple hard drives, optical drives, that type of thing. Likewise, multiple video cards. You have extra leads out. Okay, so we've got the main line. We also need that other 8-pin CPU line. SATA, EVGA. It even has a converter for IDE.
What's ID?
Some of the old fans, this is the old pin style before SATA. So if you have really old equipment, it's still able to connect. Here we go, CPU. So these 8 pins are going to go to the top socket.
Oh, right up there. I see.
Yes. And then the big pins go in the main socket. And then the SATA will go for the hard drive. So let's get the other CPU line in. So we got power, CPU, secondary. We got power for VGA card, power for SATA. That should be enough for us to start. This goes in, and I'm going to use the screws with the neck, the collar, for those 4 points. And you can find the 4 points lining up. There we go. And there were, coincidentally, 4 screws. So far, it's going nice.
Should be boot off your USB.
And finally. Okay. Now, let's see which pass-through is going to work for these guys. Maybe, I think I'm actually going to have them all feed in through here. So this is the CPU. Nope, this is the EVGA. This one we're going to hold on for the video card. SATA for the hard drive. I'm going to leave that out because your hard drive is actually going underneath. 8-pin CPU. These together. Facing the same way. Not tangled.
Okay, I think that's not it then. Let me quickly, check another one.
Helpful if my fingers were half that size. There we go. I felt the click. Okay, CPU is connected. And now, main motherboard power. Coming around. Here. Clicked in, okay. So motherboard, CPU, video card. Okay. Now let's swing this around and put in hard drive. So it's got an enclosure here for the hard drive. Wonder if it's easy to pull out. Because I didn't see the slots. The cage that some of those guys use.
Yeah, there it is.
I was looking to see if there was a cage. Sometimes they actually make a cage that slots in rather than trying to get the whole thing.
No, it's just that box.
Yeah. And that box did not have anything, so I'm going to see if I can actually take those 4 screws out and pop out the whole cage. Let go. 2. Now, let's get at your little hard drive. This is your little tiny hard drive.
It's so small.
And of course, this doesn't have any of the cage points or small ones, so we're going to attach it. Like that. Only one screw point's gonna be connected. I don't see that we got much choice right
Can
now.
it go the other way?
Well, we need to have
Oh,
these
yeah,
for the connections, and it's 4 points either way. Do I have an upper point? No, I was hoping maybe I could attach it like this. Ah, there we go. Well, the screw points line up, and the screw points line up. There we go. So let's get some more hard drive screws. There are 4 hard drive screws. It's almost like they knew we didn't need to do this.
God, the hard drives are so small.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing is they now have a terabyte single camera chip. A terabyte on an SD card.
Wow.
It's astounding.
That terabyte SSD puts you ahead of most gamers on the hardware curve. Most of us just hit that this year.
Okay.
I just got one like 2 months ago.
Okay.
I'm still excited about it.
Natty natty boo boo.
You ordered the one I was gonna get last year right out from under me, you jerk.
Tech fighters.
I'm sorry that I actually jumped on the mistake and deal faster than you did.
You're sorry that I called you and told you something was going on and then you
They're
tweeted
sticking
me
out
right out.
further than that. Let's see if I get this to line up.
No, no, I'm not sorry at all.
This.
I love
Go back like that. Okay. That is gonna work.
And that was cheaper than yours.
Actually, it was, yeah. And now, for the last one we bought was $150.
I think that's what I got mine at, 150 or 160.
Love it. Love the big great. You know, I'm even so happy with my M.2, you know, because I at least have, you know, decent cooling and decent airflow over because of my case.
That laptop case has certain cooling, and it's still put a 15C drop instead of persistent one. Like, that's nuts.
No, and your laptop seems so much
All
better.
right.
Yeah, it digs the SSD. I mean,
Did they give you a SATA data cable? If not, we may have to get one of ours.
4 seconds versus 6 seconds.
That actually connects the hard drive to the motherboard. This gives it power,
yeah, basically.
but
There's
we'll,
no other cables?
I did not see an actual SATA data cable. Fortunately, we have a whole bunch. So I'm just going to go grab one of ours.
I'm gonna go ahead and root around with that. I think the 256 SSD that I have is actually on.
Are any of these cables?
Yeah, we can use one of these. As long as it's long enough.
So I'm gonna root around and then possibly tomorrow. What
ties?
installed in there.
Millions of ties.
Yeah. To do with it with
See
SSD.
if one of these is going to give us what we need. So you clip on to the drive. Feeds this up through here along with all the other pieces. And let's see. Where are you going? Which one of you is SATA 0? SATA. 1, 2. I believe we want SATA 1. Usually they call it SATA 0. Let's just double check. That's my hard drive guy. Yeah, instead of SATA 0, they're calling it SATA 1. Okay.
Fairly obvious, fairly quick. If RAM is buffered on it.
Doesn't say SATA 1 is the.
Only with its own fan. So that it's in that line.
I think
Yeah,
I also got it on
the
backwards.
cooler will always come with its own. The extra ones were for other slots in the case, just to keep
Oh.
air moving.
Oh, so we can, this
And-
one?
Well, did,
This one? It came with it.
yeah, that should
Oh,
have.
this
Yeah,
is another one.
yeah. Well, now I'm confused. This is we used.
Oh, watch out for that one. That's a finger biter.
Oh, what?
I'm gonna need two flats. The chip came with this.
Oh, it came with its own cooler. That's what you're saying.
Cooler,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. To us, a fan and a cooler is a little bit different thing. Sorry, I misunderstood. So yeah, you could. I didn't realize the Ryzen was going to come with its own.
Yeah.
So
came
yeah,
with its
you
own.
could definitely return this and get a little bit of cash back. Excellent. And that looks like a nice cooler too. Awesome.
Yeah, and it came with its own. He said whatever
Thermal paste.
the
Yeah.
already mounted on it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm running the
Wow, Ryzen's getting a little bit. We're all Intel people, so this is Ben's the only one that's built Ryzen's yet. So that's cool. I didn't know that.
I'm gonna pop the
That's a thing that I'm happy to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. So so the Ryzen's do come with a stock cooler, and they've got paste on them already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would
It was
be
a nice
able to run
setup.
my cash back. That'll offset your extra fans.
Both stock coolers come with case on board.
I was
now.
completely unaware of that.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, and it's it's reasonable. It's not like it's they're just putting in like glue or something. It's it ain't Arctic silver, but
Yeah.
it's not crap.
speaking of which, here, throw this back in your drawer.
I'm stealing my crap.
No, I will not.
Hide it somewhere else.
Pretty sure I bought that tube of paste.
Yeah, well, so mine towards mine now.
Come on, you.
Is it long enough?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
I'm just having trouble getting my fingers in there to connect them. There we go. There you go. Make sure it's SATA 1. See, the labels aren't quite the same.
You got it going into a 6
4.
gigabyte SATA, right?
Ah, I see. Their labels are offset. There we go. That should be
Yeah,
SATA
I was
1.
thinking that the far right one was a 6 gig. Maybe it's, yeah, just
They're all 6 gig.
Oh, yep, they are. You're right. SATA 1, SATA 2. Yeah, okay, yeah. The far one should be SATA 1 and SATA 2, looks like.
Okay. We are good so far. That is hard drive connection. Let's do the video card. And RAM. So your RAM slots
right there.
are right in there. So let's get these guys in. Now, one thing we want to check, since you're only using 2 out of 4 slots, it often requires us to use specific ones.
Yeah, you want to make sure you got one dual channel.
That's all CPU. Here we go. RAM.
Oh wow.
And it doesn't tell me. Thanks, you jerks. Are they listed AABB?
Or that again for just 1 second. Let's see.
Where's my DIMM information?
Oh, wait, okay, yeah, I got a top is, we got, okay, here. Look
Is
at
it
here.
AB, or is it AABB?
A1, A2, B1, B2.
So usually it's A1, B1. I want to see.
A1 and A2 are definitely on the top, B1 and B, because the printing is right here above the,
Oh no, they want A2, B2.
Oh, you're saying what they want, not what's actually printed.
Yeah, where the cards go. That's what I care about.
Sorry, I
A2,
thought you were
B2
going-
is what they want.
Okay, so middle right and far right. Or I'm sorry, that one and that one. Fresh ram.
This way or this way? Let's see. So what? Those two, right?
The far right one and the one.
That one and
yes,
that one.
Correct.
We definitely need to get a decimal.
Oh, yeah, it just snaps right in.
Yeah. There's one. Go in that direction. There we go. RAM is in place.
So it has. You could put 2 more slots of RAM.
Correct. So you could bump it up to 32 gigs instead of 18. Okay. Now the big guy. Let's actually keep everybody out of the way. We got those accessible. Ideally, it's going to slot right down in there. So let's open up the cage. And for these larger cards, we're actually going to need to open up 2 of the bays. It's actually a double size.
You have to take out all those screws?
Nope,
Oh,
just the top 2.
Just the top two. Oh, okay. Oh, I see
One
what
for
you mean.
each panel,
Oh, I
basically.
see, I see.
And the larger video
Each of
cards take
those
2
is-
panels.
Oh, okay, okay.
That way, the big cards you can take out more slots. Smaller cards you just take out the one you need. That type of thing. And these are made to line up with those
Oh, I
guys.
see, I see, I see.
So we're going to take the top slot for the video card.
I used to have a picture of him as a puppy running in the driveway at me. He was so small, and his feet were so big and furry that he was up. And his front paw, you can't even see his head. Like, just like go on. And there was another one. We had this. My first dog, Sadie. We had this huge Ford marble dog. They weighed like 50 pounds for a kid taking this thing out.
There is the beauty.
And
Nice.
while later we got
You see, it's a double size.
in the bowl eating, and the bowl was so good that he just like ate it. It's great.
So nice. This comes off. Ideally, this whole thing should drop right into that slot. Looks like I may need to take out. I took out the top one. I didn't need to.
Oh, middle one?
Yeah. I'll put this back into the top slot. That way it stays nice and closed. Less chance of dust contamination. Or cat hair and stuff. I have 2 cats, and that's probably the biggest problem I have to worry about. Okay. Now, we can slot you. Thank you. Click. And this gives you power.
And this is the power.
Yes. Power for the board. Okay, let's screw this guy down
And
nice
what's
and
this
tight.
for? Is this for like adding another one?
You can actually have 2 video cards working together.
Okay.
It's called, the term is SLI,
Oh.
for serial linked interface, I
What
think.
would you do that for?
For example, I've got a video game that I can use with a VR virtual reality headset.
There you go.
So it
Yeah,
wants more power.
I see, I see.
Or if I had 2 older cards working together, they can give me as much power as one of the newer cards.
I see.
Okay. So we've got video card with its power, memory, main CPU, fan with its power, system fans. These guys, I guess they're all connected to that other fan. I didn't see a separate lead for those guys. Yeah, I guess they're all part of it. Now then, let's put these sides back on. Get everything connected up.
Do we put in the other fans?
Would you like to? And if
Yeah.
so, where?
I bought two. He said to buy two extra fans.
What's interesting is your case came with a bunch of fans already, so you've already got a top fan and a back fan. So I'm not sure where you would want to put one. There's no grills, there's no airflow through there. That may be another thing you can get a refund for. It's like some of them would have a second grid here, but there is no grid for it. Some of them would have a grid on the side, but there's no grid here for it. So I don't think this case has place for any more fans. It's got plugs on the motherboard, but I don't think the case really has more places for it. Michael sold you out. But he wasn't listening.
What did I do? What did I do?
You've got him all sorts of extra pieces he didn't need.
Well, did we put a front fan in? Because usually we put
There-
a front
there's
fan
no
in.
grill.
Oh, there's nothing there to.
There's no airflow.
Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. But returning things is usually better than having to order them again. on
Yes,
Maui,
this is
so-
also true.
And at least, you know, those are the cheapest things we ordered.
There we go.
Now, there was a question that you asked me on the phone that I'm honestly not sure if we have answered yet. And that when you gave us the specs to build this, it wasn't specified, so I didn't think to look at it. But does this board have Wi-Fi or
Oh, yeah.
Bluetooth?
I don't need it, but
I did not see
I don't
any
think so.
Wi-Fi
Yeah.
chip. I do think it has Bluetooth though.
Okay. It looks like it should have Bluetooth. It's a nice board.
nice board.
And for if you want Wi-Fi support, it's basically just an add-on PCI card that you'll install just like this one. It'll go right in the smaller slot. A little antenna will stick out the back for you. They're not very expensive.
But I'm gonna hook it up with Ethernet anyway.
That's honestly the better
That's
way
a better
to go.
way to go, yeah.
kind of like, wireless is cool and everything, but the wired gets you less lag, better response. Oh, that is a nice looking window.
Could you grab one of the Windows 10 USBs?
Yeah.
Okay. Now then. Oops, I forgot to add one of the pieces. Ooh, and
Win
do we
10
have
USB.
a VGA, DVI to VGA adapter?
DVI.
Otherwise, I may have to grab a different monitor.
Oh, that should just be with a little adapter. There was one back there. Yeah, there was a red one that was underneath the monitor that we used for the default video transmission.
Oh, is that it right there next to you?
No, that's VGA DVI. I need DVI to HDMI or DisplayPort. Actually, we've got DisplayPort adapters. Yeah.
I got. Pretty sure I have what you want over here. That's straight HDMI.
Just getting the last screw plates and things back on.
I have a DVI to HDMI. You said that was the thing that would work.
DVI to no. I need DVI to. I need DisplayPort to DVI.
Okay, that we don't have.
I thought one of the ones up on the front.
No, we've got DisplayPort for VGA.
That would work too. I do have a VGA line.
Okay, cool. That I can look at.
Connections.
Once I get a VGA cable, I'll have a VGA line. Could you grab me a VGA cable?
Remember when I asked you yesterday about putting together a
Yeah,
list of cables and things for you?
that wasn't gonna happen.
There you go. Thanks. Okay.
These are all little, these are like little DVIs.
USB for mouse and keyboard. This one for internets. Once they get my VGA adapter,
Yeah, a couple of
we can start the final process.
you're not writing up for you. Is that gonna get me my list?
No, just a cable.
Power line coming in already. I just got one back here. I'll unscrew this one. Since you brought the. Thank you. Let's go. Let's go. Oh, damn you. Too many cables. Final step. You in here. Sorry about the camera, folks. You in here? Are we ready for the moment of truth? Here's a copy of Windows 10. If you would like to do the honors, let's see if what happens. We got power.
Wow, look at the color.
Not getting signal from the screen. Let's try. Definitely getting power. Let's try the motherboard line. DisplayPort. Let's make sure it's not me getting the wrong input onto the screen as well. Getting power, but I'm not seem to be getting the signal. Make sure we got everything connected okay. Yeah, fans on the video card are running, so we know the card's getting it. I do not have any messages for Jonathan. There's the other video lines out I should use instead. Let's try primary line out. If that makes a difference. You can go back in. Everything else comes up.
There's your MOBO. It looks like it might be flashing, or your book. It looks like it might be flashing an error code up top of the MOBO.
Book's right over there.
Now it's working.
Ah, wait, we got it.
Okay.
Aha! So now it should be pulling in.
It's not a fast repay, but it'll save you a little bit of money. Especially if you're one of those like us who just leaves their computer. Well, I don't know. Yeah, everybody. Well, Ben's computer won't even turn off anymore. I don't know what the hell.
Mine doesn't really want it. When you turn it off, it turns itself back on.
right back on. It's fun.
You don't really need to turn them off anymore, do you?
It's not necessary.
Part
It
of it is
doesn't-
how much power you want to use, that type
Yeah.
of thing. A rig like this, even on standby, it's drawing power. So,
Probably only about 40 to 45 watts though. Once you kick it up, it's going to be pulling 300 or so, maybe a little bit more. When you're going at it in division.
So 750 should be plenty.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely. That'll give you room to add a second
Extra
video
hard
card if you
drives
want,
and
extra
things,
hard
yeah.
drive. Because everything you add is going to draw a little bit more power, and hard drives pull more power than people realize. So if you throw another SSD or even an old mechanical hard drive from an old machine in there just for more storage space, that'll be extra headroom that'll keep you going. Honestly, a 750, you should be good to pull that out of this box and put it in your next build. So yeah, I try to build for a little bit of future proofing, and this machine should go a couple years, no problem, without being worried about specs.
all right.
This is the
Windows
United
10
States. You don't
US
use any crazy
keyboard.
Russian Dvorak things, do you? No, okay.
Skip. Oh, we don't
We
need any
we
more
don't
keyboard?
need second keyboards. Second keyboards are crazy. All right, I'll let it do that.
In fact, we can even pull out this guy. It's now in the final stages of setting up Windows 10. Once this is done, you have a computer. And we'll just go in and do final cleanup and locking things down. That was the
Yeah,
foot
yeah.
over the card. It's interesting that it now put a shield over the back. It used to be open circuit,
Oh, really?
which meant dust and things. This is a personal computer. Do you care about a Microsoft account? We'll just go for an offline account for now.
Yeah, for
and
now.
then you can sign up online
I actually
later. if
have
you
one,
want.
I think, so I can.
You can connect it to it later if you
Yeah.
need, exactly. What would you like your name to be just now? And we're gonna. Do you want a password?
For.
Just for turning on the computer.
Yeah.
We do not need Cortana, thank you. We do not
Everybody
need
hates you,
devices.
Cortana.
We don't need any of you
All
either.
of that off.
All right. It's alive. So once it dumps to desktop, we'll power it off and clean up the inside, and you can take it home and play. Our Windows 10 install is up to date, so it shouldn't need much in the way of updates.
Oh, also, is there some people say that you have to update your graphics, like updates come in?
Windows 10 is pretty good about getting most of them automatically. That's an NVIDIA card, so
Right.
worst case scenario, all NVIDIA cards use the same GeForce driver.
Okay.
So you don't have to worry about getting one for that model type of thing. But Windows 10 itself should find the current driver and use it.
In the future, there are kind of two different ways to go about that when you need to update the driver in the future. If you install the NVIDIA Experience software, it will come on and tell you, hey, there's a new driver, click this will install.
Okay.
Uses
That
a
is
little
the
more system
finished build.
resources, and the program can be a little bit wonky. A lot of people don't like it, but it is easy and it does work. If you don't install the full GeForce Experience software, what you will need to go do is actually go to the properties of the video card and tell it to update the driver, or go to the NVIDIA website and find the current drivers that way. It's an easy process.
We have desktop.
I usually just go ahead and throw the Experience on because it tells me when there's a new one.
And now it's getting in all of its latest updates and that kind of stuff.
I would also, just as a general recommendation, I don't anymore download day one NVIDIA drivers, because a couple of years ago they bricked some machines and broke some cards.
Oh, wow.
I tend to wait a few days now, so, and it's not going to cause any performance issues or anything like that.
Like I do when I update my iPhone, I go in there and say, should I do this update? Okay, no, I'm not gonna do
Yeah, I tend to give NVIDIA a few days after last year's medium-sized debacle.
Right. Yeah, I don't need any of that stuff.
And it's all advertising.
Oh, you're so much nicer than me. I don't clean that up for people.
I always get rid of these things. Mostly because a lot of people never learned how. So they spend the rest of their lives staring at all the advertising.
You're deleting Fitbit, Coach?
I know you're such a big fan.
I know, right?
Everything must go.
It just takes up space, right?
Yep. And with your SSD,
The best part is half of these are going to come back with the next update.
Yeah, that's the fun part of Windows 10. With your SSD, you do kind of want to monitor how full you've got it. If you get it up to about 75, 80%, it's going to want to slow down.
Okay.
And SSDs have a limited number of write cycles, so you generally don't want to fill them all the way up, because when they erase, they don't really erase. They write to a new spot and then tell the old spot it's not there anymore, so it can just kind of manage your data on that, and you'll be a little happier long term.
The only thing I've ever actually put on it is the Division, and then if I get maybe Anthem, if that game's any good, or
I played in the alpha and I really liked it, but
Yeah.
the release beta that they've done in the last couple of weeks is just getting wrecked. And I really enjoyed the alpha. I had a great time playing with a few friends, so I'm putting that one off for a little bit after it comes out. After the alpha, I was a day one buy, but with all the stuff that's happened this week,
it comes free. with-
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got that free, and I actually got the Division free.
Well, then you might as well go ahead and get it just so you get it. Get it.
Legacy.
point in not having it.
These guys off. We don't want them spying
Free
on
is
anything we
nice.
do. Don't store the activity, you jerks. Updating its video drivers while we speak.
Oh, it is.
Go away. Go away.
Yeah, we thoroughly
Go
used
away.
Windows 10 for this.
Go away.
The biggest problem with building PCs in the past with the older operating system has been once you get all the hardware in, now you have to go find all the drivers, and Windows 10 just sucks them all in for you. It's
Oh,
wonderful.
That's one good thing about it.
That's one of the things I like best about it.
I've slowly been won over. I don't like the privacy issues that it has, but you can turn most of it off.
That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, and yeah, as an operating system unto itself, it's really stable. Plus,
Alright.
you know, you can't get DirectX 12 on anything else, so. Zip tie time.
Yep. Come on. Okay, well what's nice is there's actually very few cables in here to begin with. So it's
Modular
not like there's
PSUs for the win.
So it's not like
Yeah,
there's
I don't
much
really see a lot of work to
binding
do
that
in
needs to happen.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah. Let's put this part back in. We can remember where the hell it came from.
Is it?
Doesn't it come from
Yeah,
the
that looks
front?
like their front panel fan mount to me. The inside front panel, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
That, yeah, okay, so yeah,
Ah.
they've got the air slot over on the side.
So
I'm
if
not
you
a-
like,
Can we
we
just
could
put 'em in?
try. I was just gonna say.
You just put them in.
If
Doesn't hurt, does it?
No.
no. As long as we've got controllers on the motherboard for the extra ones, which I
It's
would
got
imagine we do.
fan pin here and another fan pin down there.
Okay.
So it's got the. Oh, and we wanted to see if we
Oh,
could
let's see if
find
that
where
one's
that one came from as well.
As you can see, this is not a really difficult thing to do, but it's
No, yeah.
it's a
Just
little bit
all the
involved, and you
details.
want to make sure you get everything. Let's see, that is pinning around. That's that fan lead.
Here it is. Wow, that's useless.
Okay, what did they do there?
They just left it dangling
Why
back
did they
here.
Why did they even run it back there? If it won't make it around, well, unstrap it and put it somewhere else.
That's unexpected.
What is this red cable to again?
That's to your hard drive, the
Okay,
data.
okay.
SATA
That's
cable.
a SATA cable.
Now, I believe I've got a fan pinned. I've got two over there. I don't think I'm going to reach over there. Nope, that's not going to reach down there. Ooh, but I can. There we go.
Find one? Oh, you had more room. You had more cable.
Pin connection.
Mike, I think I maybe found part of what is wrong with the shower
Oh!
Un momento. Or unless you want to just talk.
Refurb.
Oh. That can be a problem.
Are refurbished machines not so good?
I mean, they can be, but you can run into issues with people when they refurb them. They gotta get them to work, so they might throw weird hardware in that they don't have the drivers necessarily to, or the machine thinks it's not weird hardware; it's the old hardware, so it tries to reload the old drive. Just things can go wrong. Yes.
See where its connections are now on reconnect. Okay, there we go.
It goes into the long slots. They're for 120s to 140s. At least that's what it
Except-
looked like it lined up on the long ones
No,
to me.
it doesn't. I think it lines up on the shorties. On the smaller ones. The other ones, yep.
As long as the screws in tight.
So, let's get those bigger screws.
And you've got these pulling, right? Looks like it.
Fan screws. So if you want it facing that way or that way.
I think the way you just had it is the way it spins to pull.
And this one goes in like that. So we want him like that.
I believe so, yes.
And this pulls air out.
This will be
pulls
pulling,
pull
this will be
air, and then
pulling air
that's
through the front,
exhaust.
and everything else will be pushing it out the back.
I see.
Exactly.
No, this. I can get it there.
Yeah, that's fine. And the other one should fit to the same
Just underneath.
ones underneath. Yeah.
And then I got two
There's-
fan
There's
sockets.
60, 120 millimeter, 120, 140 millimeter fans, so they've gotten to the point where they start to make these weird slot
Sizes,
ones so
brackets.
that they'll fit several different types, or a few sizes, I should say.
This way.
So we definitely need to get a desk lamp back here. These are supposed to be some of the quietest fans on the market, so they should not add any sort of
Right,
noise
yeah.
to your.
Doesn't matter anyway. I could at least say be quiet.
That's their brand. So it was funny. I looked up these versus the Noctua fans, which are the big, like everybody loves these fans because they have massive airflow, and these actually put out basically the same amount of air at a slightly lower decibel rating. But the reason everybody thinks that the Noctuas put so much more fan through is because these are rated in cubic feet per minute, if I remember correctly, and the Noctuas are rated in cubic feet per hour. It makes a.
It's just sad because you got burned by that.
I didn't get burned by that. I didn't buy
You had to go
Noctuas.
look it up, and then you were really pissy about the whole thing.
I'm pissy about everything, Kella. We get along real good here, in case you hadn't noticed.
That's healthy. This case got rated as the best bargain case last year.
Did it?
Yeah, I looked it up. Yeah,
I
yeah.
was unaware.
Yeah, yeah. And the same brand got the #1 slot. It was like it had a massive fan in the front.
Oh yeah, there's some big ones. 240 is doable now too. Yeah. So they
It was like a $200 for the case. It's just the case.
Just the case.
yeah. That's since I bought that one, I've been a big fan of NZXT as a manufacturer. That was an easy case to build in. Well, I just rebuilt that one a couple of days ago. And yeah, I'm big fan of what they're
It's like
doing.
a lot of workspace. You can tell it's got a lot of space.
Well, that's the thing. You get in there and you want to find a weird angle, and suddenly you're cutting your knuckles against hard drive cages, and so yeah, the extra space is always worth it. And see, this down here is new. This is something they're doing fairly recently. The PSU being separated from everything else, and that'll help with heat as well, because all the heat that the PSU generates will never make it
Even
up
out.
into the actual case. Because it's probably got a fan on the top that's pulling down and then blowing out the back is how they're usually done. But it may just have a fan at the back. I don't know which PSU you got offhand.
It's got two.
Oh, does it have two? Well, even better. sorry. I'm supposed to be providing you light, but I'm failing at that miserably. It's also not exactly easy to get light on where you're going.
See, the light down below. Yeah.
It's good, more below.
Just having trouble getting my fingers in there.
You know what the needle does?
I'm just having trouble getting the pins lining up on it. There we go. There we go.
Alright, so one.
There's that one. And you are my next CPU fan. Do, 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 do. I think I'll have to use the one over here. Come on. Here's the case where I wish I had done this before I put the video card in. So close.
Needle nose help you on this one?
I don't think so. Again, it's mostly just a matter of getting. Because then I'd have to get my whole fist in there for the needle nose as well. Just trying to get that. Settle down. Almost. You can do it. There.
Alright.
Okay. Now we'll tie these down a little bit, just to keep them out of the way.
Okay, let's see what's up here.
And nothing gets caught in fans or anything.
Well, I just don't trust you. Graham, Memphis came from. So, just finished discombobulating that so I can pull our rep. And as soon as we get access to the back computer again.
Okay. Oops. That's a zip. Okay. Now, before we close it up, I'm going to fire it up again just to make sure all the fans kick in. Connected.
Dude.
Power turned on.
Genuine emergency, not a monster truck round.
Everybody else in. Fan went. Fan went. Both fans going. Excellent.
Hey.
That back one's spinning too?
Yep.
Alright.
So,
What's up?
All
Jonathan
fans are
left
going.
himself logged into his Facebook.
So this
What
exhaust.
you're saying is I
Yep.
should change his
So it's pulling in air in the front and blowing it out the
I
back.
can feel it.
I'm saying that
he would be so
Cool.
mad.
many
And
things
there it is
happen.
booting up. Already on desktop.
Nice. Oh yeah, I would turn those LEDs off.
I think we're good.
I like the LED fan, like way more than I want to. Me too. I logged him out so you couldn't mess with his Facebook account.
I couldn't mess with it. Oh, I see.
All right.
This off this one.
Well, Tracy, do you feel like you got a general idea of how this works now? Good.
That's great.
Like I said, it's not a difficult process. It just has its complexities and ins and outs.
Yeah,
The biggest problems are almost always getting those pins on the motherboard, the
Yeah.
ones for the LED lights, the powers, and stuff like that. And there's nothing you can do about it. It's just you've got to search with what PSU you've got versus what motherboard and figure it out.
Okay. So, mouse and keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
The blue ones are the higher speed ones. I think the red is the highest speed one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the red are probably the 3.1 with power.
They're
As
labeled-
opposed to
they're
just the
labeled
3.0
SS10.
in the blue.
Yeah.
Internet. While these are video, I'm going to plug them up because you want to use the ones down here.
Yeah, remember I told you a
Like
lot of
video
people put the
card
video card in
slots.
and then they switch to the wrong output.
So you have both HDMI and DVI. So whichever type of plug
I
you
have
got.
actually surprised there
I
aren't any
believe
of
the
this one.
USB-C ports on it.
It's up,
There's your HDMI slot.
there it is. It's right here. USB-C.
Ah, yes, excellent. Good,
Oh, this
good.
is
I knew I saw one on there.
This is HDMI too?
That's a display port.
Oh,
You
display.
can see
Oh, this
one
is
side
the
is
display.
rectangle and the other side is
And this
angled.
is-
The smaller one is the HDMI. But it's got multiple DVI ports out. Display ports out, I mean.
So you can hook up like
Like
Oh,
multiple
you can hook up
screens.
several
monitors?
monitors. Yes.
Yeah.
If you go multiple monitors, I
Right.
would definitely suggest switching or keeping to the display ports. They work
Yeah.
better with monitor switching and
I only have
automatically
one,
detecting.
so just use that one.
Yeah.
If it's display port. If it's
If it's
HDMI, you can use
HDMI,
that.
Just check on. Excuse me.
Green is your line out, unless you have the super fancy
no,
soundbar
the
type of
shot
things.
That's the shot disc.
But that should do it.
And
I've
then,
set the power to off on here, so when you
Okay.
plug
Shaw,
it in,
yes,
remember to click
yes.
that on before you turn it up.
Just
And
having
then this is for
So-
the headset?
Yep, green is for speaker or headphones. Blue is for the microphone.
Okay, so because I'm going to
Yep.
get this new
Or
headset.
actually, pink goes microphone as well. So those two would be your right there.
The blue one is a line in, which may or may not pass through to the SPDIF. That can happen, but I don't know if this motherboard does it.
And what's this for again?
Digital audio out,
Oh,
like some of the new
digital.
sound bars and things
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
Wow.
Most people don't use
Alright.
it, but yeah, like if you do get a new sound bar,
Just in
something
case,
may,
yeah.
or stereo speakers of a better ilk.
So this was a successful construction of a
Yeah,
new
definitely.
gaming rig. Thank you, Tracy.
Yeah, thanks.
I'm gonna go ahead and shut the stream back to.
Goodbye, Twitch. Thanks for not stealing our Windows 10 key.
Thank you, everybody.